My mom is driving me to prison. She's pretty drunk, but she know the way coked out too, which she'll be on the way back. I'm ditching the last of my stash with her. Don't shower, she says. Ma, come on. I see the television. I know what happens in there. I'm covered, Ma. Truth is, I've invested most of last year's profits into buying protection from the Aryan Brotherhood for the next 6 to 9 years. So I'm a little less jittery than last time. Still, I figure there's a 40% chance they'll break the deal. Pass the scotch. She swigs a mouthful and sends it over. I take a sip, pour a little on my hair, dribble a line down my back. 30 years old from a craggy island in Scotland I'll never get to. This is the kind of shit I should do, I confess. Make something beautiful that people have for their last drink before prison. Scotch is basically cocaine for rich people, my mom opines, which makes it clear that she doesn't know cocaine that well, since cocaine is really crack for rich people. I'd say Scotch is more like cocaine for people too chicken to risk mandatory sentencing guidelines. But then again, here I am on the losing end of that one. Jerry will be done with school when I get out, I realize. I hope he makes it, she says, followed by her first swerve, dodging an imaginary cyclist. Why wouldn't he make it, I wonder, helping myself to a little more of the scotch, dousing my nose, slurping from the bottle like Gatorade after a basketball game. It's right around the age kids go bad in this town, she says, fearing to avoid an invisible chicken, a dog, then banking hard for the mail truck. Benjamin, she says, Daniel, Cary, Caitlin. Caitlin was a fuck-up from the start, I point out. That may be true, but 14 is when she got violent, Mom says. And I remember when Caitlin came back from her first Taekwondo class, all nunchucks and jump kicks, how she beat me purple in the front lawn, and still was the most fun I'd had since Street Fighter broke at the arcade. You could play forever on a single quarter. I pass Mom the scotch, and she gulps it, spitting it back at me in a tropical mist. But Jerry, I wonder? I hear he's getting decent grades. Can make a jump shot here and there, easy on the eyes. Where's the trouble in that? Crap-a-honest, my mom exclaims, then yanks the wheel toward the shoulder and up a small incline, braking hard at a scenic overlook of a dung-splattered cow field and a long, low stone wall, and a white sun ticking up in the sky. She caps the scotch and hurls it into the back seat, then slaps her face into Sirius, frown tips hanging limp like a pervert's mustache. Look, Jason, when it's your own, you don't see it coming. One day your daughter's helping to clean your toilet. 2 days later, she's out dancing you with the wet t-shirt contest. And I got 5 kids worth of statistical proof that the 14th birthday is always the day in the middle. Present company included. You, I wonder? And I could see it. The old pictures of Mom with electric orange bra straps and hair styled like elaborate topiary, and puddles of purple and green makeup, PCP and stick-ups radiating in her eerie yellow smile. Me too, she admits, wiggling the steering wheel. You too. All of us. Makes her wonder if we were decent at sports or school, how things would have gone. Her face muddies up with gray, cheeks and saggy eyes, a translucent froth around her nose. Well, we've all been pretty good at the cop sprint, I point out. There is that, she admits. Caitlin had her Taekwondo blue belt. Daniel made the spelling bee once. Cary could grow bird pictures like they flew right onto the page. And Benjamin, well, and it is a reach with Benjamin. 2 years younger than me and a life of canned chili and video games and internet futzing and silence. But he could reprogram your air conditioner and build a computer out of toothpicks and baling wire. She stays quiet. The engine chortles and traffic screams and bluegrass pops and slides on the radio. Leslie's looking after Jerry, I note, and I'd appreciate it if you could check in on him now and then. Leslie's even moodier than Caitlin, she exclaims. And I recall why I divorced Leslie in the first place. How she drove motorcycles blindfolded and threw dinner plates of mailmen and left the oven on all night with the entire contents of the bathroom cabinet inside. I got 2 jobs and guardianship of 3 other grandkids and a suitcase worth of snow to sell, my mom continues. Now pass back the scotch. Yellow-tipped fingers foxtrot over the armrest, itchy and devastated like squished caterpillars. I dig out the scotch in the back seat, give it a shake like a magic 8-ball, except no answer surfaces, and I'm forced to take a good, long, ruminative pull before I send it over. Let's go see him, I decide. Jerry. I get the classic cowed look back, sorry and sad and too scared to say it. What time you do, she asks. I'll be fine, I'll tell her, and now it's an order. Let's go. She points the truck off the highway and we backtrack down local roads for 20 minutes, rolling through identical suburbs and past identical strip malls, until she tucks in at one of the identical Starbuckses. I'm not sure of the plural on that. His school's across the street, she says. Good, I say. Here's money for coffee. I slip her a 20 and catch her hand, clenching her fingers and squeezing her palm like I'm working over a baseball before first pitch. Be nice, she urges, and try to listen, but I'm out the door before I catch the brunt of her lecture. The schoolhouse is done up like an old Spanish mission, with a wide courtyard paved over and stocked with basketball courts, an auditorium doubling as a chapel, white arched classrooms arranged in a rectangle, with grungy temporary units lighted up outside the compound like boot camp barracks. It is hideously sunny, the worst kind of school day. I tip my baseball cap at the custodian hosing down a pile of mats on the sidewalk and look over at a ramshackle guard building outpost carrying a hand-painted sign that says office, a pride of bulky Hispanic women chitter-chattering, and a platoon of dazed students ambling around in mindless orbits that makes me wish I had the scotch on me. I walk, fast, out, away, charged, striding beside a bash fence decorated with hot dog wrappers and soda bottles, waiting, feeling time slip, time dripping like sweat, the hot, stupid sun pulling down my cap, creating more and more distance, feet on top of miles, on top of months, on top of years. Halfway around the block, I hear scrapes and murmurs, a wave of radio static. I creep around to the dumpster lot, a secluded nook, walled off by trees and a chain-link gate, perfect for trying out cigarettes and adventurous girls, so long as they can take the smell. A group of boys flip skateboards off a curb and swigs energy drinks. Rap music fuzzing from cell phones, their backpacks piled up like a trash heap. Hunched over a guardrail, a near-teen kid with Jerry's square chin and Leslie's hazel eyes and my monstrosity of a hairdo scrawls into a notebook held 2 inches from his face. I step out from behind a parked van. It's like I'm knocking off liquor stores again. 6 sets of spooked eyes deciding whether to pretend to be the tough guy or not. Get out, I tell him, and kick the dumpster hard twice for effect. They snatch their backpacks and shoot out for the street. When I jab a finger in Jerry's sternum, he coughs hard and stays put, neatly folding up his notebook and plumping his hair hedge and rubbing his hands on the back of his jeans. The spot stinks of fry grease and fungus, and I bet all the cash buried in my backyard that yesterday's lunch special was fish sticks. Hey man, I offer. Then to be clear, it's me, Dad. He coughs, then spits, then frowns, staring at the dumpster, scratching his neck, his cheeks softening like water put to oatmeal. How you doing, I ask, and he stands perfectly still for at least half a minute before I slap my hands together in front of his face. Don't mean to be rude, but I'm headed out of town, I explain. I don't have much time. He straightens to full height, blank as a bus seat, waiting for me to lose interest and leave like usual. Say something, I order. He grunts and shuffles and snorts before risking eye contact. Hiya, Pops. Which makes for the first time I have ever been addressed that way seriously. Laughter pours out of me like the first beer of the night, sweet, fast, and bubbly, but when he tries to turn my handshake into an 8-part gangster breakdance, I clamp onto his shoulder instead. Good to see you, I say, though I haven't actually decided yet. The kid sprouted from bungling toddler to life-size human being since the last time I was paying attention, with a working cell phone and a regulation basketball pinned under his backpack, and 4 wisps of hair on his lip matted up to imitate a mustache. Yeah, he drawls, his face flushing up, the sides of his mouth twitching in half-second intervals, almost alive. Man, yeah. What you writing, I ask. He unfolds his notebook, shakes open a page. Lyrics, he admits. Nice. What kind of song? I dredge up the pictures Leslie posts online. Mostly Jerry cowed around a birthday cake, or leading a fast break, or rolled out the flatbed of her pickup truck. Though it's possible I've seen him buried in the back row of a marching band, or hoisting a beat-up guitar around a campfire, his lips imperceptibly duetting with Toby Keith on the truck radio. Hip-hop, he says, with a salty sneer that says he's proud of it. Ha! I exclaim, though it's less a laugh than an alligator bite. Well, let's hear it. He glances straight at me, just enough waver in his eyelid to tell me he's scared. It's not that tight, he says. I just want to hear it, I insist. I pop onto a knee and build up a grin. sequestering off the scotch for a few seconds of good-natured get-up. I'd appreciate it pretty bad. He looks around for witnesses, flips through his notebook, and back again. He hasn't gone bad yet. You can tell by the fluttery eyes, the breathing like a bad case of the sniffles, the sweat bubbles mounting on his forehead. His shoulders collapse in a side-to-side swivel, his duct-tape sneakers heel-tapping in offset tandem. Words spill out of him. Not a flow, not a river, not a babbling brook, nothing peaceful or natural, but rather human-made and purposefully ugly, like a sewer or gutter runoff. He rolls through a list of profanity and sexual positions and narcotics terminology laced with gibberish, made-up words that don't come close to rhyming. Harsh and sickly like an Eastern European language that's relegated to long-distance phone calls and bad memories. I wonder how he treats his mother. I wonder if he's kissed a girl. I wonder if he smoked pot. I wonder if there's still time to stop it, this badness switch. If there's anything I can say that he'll hear. He winds down with a massacre of 35 gangsta enemies and a 7-woman orgy back in his yacht. Then looks up at me with a pink sheen over his eyes like fresh paint. Sour liquor pulls my scalp, the first pangs of a world-class still-drunk hangover. That's amazing, I tell him. Really good. Dang. I paste the smile back on, shake out a wink. His teeth form a wobbly sliver and he clears his throat unnecessarily. Do you need any money, I ask. What? Spooked, staring, frozen. For all his thug trappings, he fails to connect. He does not pounce. I see the universe ahead of him, rolling with the wrong crowd when he makes it to high school, his first bust doing somebody else's dirty work, selling a dime bag or fencing an iPod. Then a few months in juvie before graduating to dropout land, revolving in and out of jail in small-time gangs, stealing old cars, smoking mystery powders, screwing insane women, and bad-rapping his way to a pile of nothing until the second strike hits and he's tracking down his kid on his way to federal prison without a single thing to say. Stick to the music, I tell him. You've got promise. I make a fist and tap it gently to his shoulder, then spin out to the street, hulking, enraged, dying of thirst. I will get the scotch and drink it, and then I'll call the police and turn Jerry in. I'll plant cocaine on him. It'll be easy. He'll go to juvie, and the process will begin now, right now. The crimes will come and the prison cycles will rotate, and I'll be done with it sooner. The stupid's shaken out of him. Maybe I'll uncover a mentor along the way, a basketball coach, a music teacher, somebody who'd rather be honest than awesome, who has the guts to tell him to drop the hip-hop, keep off the narcotics, work on his free throws, buckle down on his homework. A better, freer dad. A cop car glides down the road and I flag it down with both hands. A flat-top patrolman hangs an elbow out the window, his sunglasses tight enough to leave ear rash. Officer, I state, I think I may have observed some illegal activity. Don't pester the kids, he says. What? We got a couple calls about you harassing boys by the dumpster. They were skipping class, I point out. And it strikes me that I've never once in my entire life called the police. Whereas at least 2 of these kids called the police in the last 15 minutes. It strikes me that Jerry's criminal universe has collapsed. Graffiti crews and larceny replaced by 3-on-3 pickup and all-night hip-hop sessions in somebody's basement. My 3rd strike. That's not your concern, he says. One of them's my son, I press, and I'm going away. Take care of it at home. My mom jogs down the sidewalk with one of those new Starbucks coffees the size of a bathtub, and it's impossible not to grin at her old lady jiggling. It is a fine final memory. I'm not going home, you dumbass, I tell him. He gets out of the car, and I could hug him as he puts me in the back seat, as he hears me out and calls in the request and nods and drives, heading back out on the highway the rest of the way to the prison.